Hello, and this week on React to Reactions, we're going to talk about a couple of subjects. Doctor Doom movie finally putting Fox on the right path. Should movie theaters institute intermission because movies are getting so long? And will Flashpoint fix the DCEU? We'll discuss all this and more on React and Reactions. Hello, I'm LR Reactor, and thank you for watching this episode of the React and Reactions. So let's get into some of our top 3 subjects that we're going to talk about. So as you know, or may not know, Fox has announced that they're going to, or put in production, a Doctor Doom movie. And of course this will reset the timeline and allow them to keep the Fantastic Four rights for another 4 or 5 years. And me personally, I think this is the right move. I think Fox has realized, okay, we failed on the Fantastic Four, but maybe we could do a standalone Doctor Doom movie. You know, we don't have a lot of good villains in the Marvel universe, not the MCU, but this Marvel period, and they have one of the best villains ever with Doctor Doom. And Doctor Doom could actually help them develop a future Fantastic Four movie. And let me explain what I mean by that. So one of the problems with Fantastic Four movies is you always, and it's the same thing that happened with Spider-Man, the first, the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Here we go, we're going to reboot it, and we got to tell the origin story again. Okay, we're going to reboot it again and tell the origin story. The origin story itself takes up a lot of the movie. I think most people know who the Fantastic Four is and how they got their powers. Even people who don't follow comic books like me and you knows about the Fantastic Four because they've seen probably 1 or 2 or 3 of the bad movies that's been out from the Fantastic Four. They've had Fantastic Four, then they had Rise of the Silver Surfer, and then they rebooted it again, and then of course the one back in the 1994, the Corbin one that was just horrible. That was, anyway. At least they got Doctor Doom right in that one, I think. He looked better than he did in the last one, but anyway. So they know about the Fantastic Four. So the problem is, in my opinion, with all the Fantastic Four movie is they're trying to tell the story, the origin and storyline of the Fantastic Four, how they get their powers. But they also got to explain how the villain Doom got his powers, and all that takes up a lot of the movie before they finally get into why they hate each other, what happened to their relationship, and then how is Doom going to destroy the world, and how is this team of 4 people going to come together to fight Doom and form the Fantastic Four. Okay, that's the problem right there. We don't need that. If Spider-Man Homecoming has taught us anything, is you can just mention things or just go into the story. We know how Spider-Man got his power. He's been around for 30, 40 plus years. Same thing with Fantastic Four. But I like this idea because now let's talk about Doom. Let's talk who Doctor Doom is, how he started. You know, maybe bring him into the point where he's in college and he meets Reed Richards. So Reed Richards, I believe Reed Richards will be in the Doctor Doom movie, and he's in classmates with Reed Richards, and they're friends. They show you their friendship and also their rivalry as far as being the smartest ones. And then something happens. Something happens to Doom, and Doom gets his powers outside of the Fantastic Four. That's the last 2 movies' mistake I think they made, was Doom had to get his powers the same way that the Fantastic Four got their powers. That was never the case. That is not how the comic book went. Doom had different powers. Doom was a super smart, super intelligent, one of the smartest people on the planet, let alone the universe. Okay? He was a master of robotics, similar technology of robotics and armor as Iron Man, but his armor was not as flexible and nimble. It was more durable and had different things on it, more to protect him. But he was great at creating, robots and clones of himself, as far as robot clones and robotics and death raids and things of that nature. He was super smart. He knew how to attack people, attack their weaknesses. And of course his armor made him like Iron Man, where he had beams in him and protection and stuff of that nature. So his powers were never linked to the Fantastic Four, and I always had a problem with the movies linking their powers, and that's what the problem was. So now, if you do a Doctor Doom movie, you don't have to link his powers to going out to space and cosmic rays gave Dr. Doom his power. No, you can say what happened to him, that he was involved in magic and technology and it scarred him, and he got his powers from there. And he learned to use his intelligence to build technology to help him out. He was basically Tony Stark, but an evil version of Tony Stark. But he cared about his country, Latveria, and stuff. They can focus all on that and tell the storyline and have Reed Richards in there. That's how you introduce the Fantastic Four. You introduce Reed Richards alone. Just Reed Richards. They go to school, and then what happens? Some kind of fallout. Or maybe they team up and something happens or an experiment and he turns against Reed. Or Reed gets credit for something that he did. Who knows how they're going to do it. But that's how they should do it. And then show Dr. Doom form, show him how he got his costume, why he chose that mask, why he's covering his face up, and how he became a threat. Then at the end of the movie, you lean into the Fantastic Four a little bit as far as not, you don't show the Fantastic Four, but about someone having to stop him, and you end it like that. Then you have the setup now. Now you have Doom set up. You have the threat out there. Then you go into the Fantastic Four movie a couple years later, and you talk how Reed is going on and working on his space program, and then he meets up with Ben Grimm and Sue Richards and Johnny Storm, and then you explain how they got their powers. But you don't have to show them get their powers. Now you could in the movie, because you're just talking. You don't have to develop Doom anymore. Doom's there. He exists as he is, so you could go into that. But I say, why even go into the origin story at all? Go into a little flashback. Kind of show them at the Fantastic Four, and show a little flashback of them saying, do you remember when it first happened? And just show a little, 10 minutes of what happened, of them getting hit by rays. Now, you don't have to explain why they're in space, how they got into outer space or anything. Just kind of show a little clip of them getting hit by rays and remembering what they looked like before and who they are now. That's all you have to do. Then go right into the storyline of what the threat is. Whether it's the Mole Man you're going to do first, or you're going to have them fight Doom right away. But then you go right into the storyline and develop the story. Give me an action adventure story similar to The Incredibles. That's how you do it. You avoid the mistakes. So I hope Fox is thinking the same way. They're like, let's develop this excellent villain that's one of the biggest villains in Marvel. Give him a standalone movie. Let them develop them, and then we'll lead into the Fantastic Four. And don't tell origin story. Do a flashback, and let's go into the action. That's how it could be. So if Fox is thinking this, bravo, and it's the right move. I think they finally may have learned that this is the way to do it, and I think they can make a successful Fantastic Four movie after that. So tell me your reactions to that thought about the Fantastic Four, how to do this story, and if doing Dr. Doom is the best way to bring the Fantastic Four back and develop Dr. Doom at the same time. You can react to me at my Twitter, Ready to React Now, Facebook, and Gmail, readytoreactnow@gmail.com. Tell me what you think and what your thoughts are about my Dr. Doom, Fox fixing everything with their universe and getting the Fantastic Four finally taken off by means of a Dr. Doom movie. Okay, so next subject we're going to talk about. Should movie theaters bring back intermission? Now, long before I was born, and maybe a lot of you out there, movie theaters, and even just not so much movie theaters, but shows themselves had intermissions. So people would go to movies or a show, watch a movie for an hour. Now, I don't know how long they would watch it before they do it, but an hour, hour and a half, and then it will be an intermission break, a 5-minute intermission break, where people will go to the bathroom, go get refreshments, drinks, things that nice, stretch their legs, and then come back, and the show will start up again for another hour and a half or whatever. Now that went away, of course, in the 70s, I think, roughly. I don't know when it actually went away, but it went away. And movie theaters produced movies, which was fine. Movies ran about 60 minutes, some an hour and a half, then 2 hours. But now we are in the age of great storytelling, of advanced movie storytelling, where movies now are averaging an hour and a half to 2 hours. Many of them, as we watch Marvel and DC and Fox and Sony movies, of these superhero movies, even the Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, are going 2 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours in some cases. I'm not sure. I believe the Russo brothers spoke that Infinity War is going to be 2.5 hours to 2 hours and 45 minutes. I love it. Great. The longer the movie, the better the story is, the more detail it is. But I gotta tell you guys, I'm gonna get a bladder infection one of these days, holding my pee and then I have to go to the bathroom because I don't want to miss a single bit of it, but I gotta go. It's hard to hold it in for 2.5 hours plus. And you're holding it in because you don't want to miss that. And now you got to wait another 10 to 15 minutes because you don't want to miss the post-credit scenes either. So what are you to do? You know, you got to hold it in. So I think it needs to be implemented. I think they should do an intermission. You play the movie for an hour and a half. You hit a pause or some kind of production pause where we'll be right back or something, or you just pause it and allow people to get popcorn, get refreshments, go to the bathroom, because it is getting tough to watch these movies. I mean, you almost have to time when you drink. So when I go to the movie theater, I don't drink anything at all until I sit down, and then I'll have some drinks together. I can time my body saying if I drink now, I won't have to go to the bathroom for a little 2 hours if I'm lucky, or 2.5. But you almost got to time it, or you are going to have to get up, walk out, and miss something maybe important in the movie, or maybe not. But the point is, you got to get up and miss something in the movie, and you don't want to. So I'm really thinking, and I hope they do this, that they bring intermissions back, because these movies are getting longer and longer. It'll make it, the production value will be better. I think people will be more satisfied and know they got a little break. They can go out for a minute, get something to drink, use the bathroom, come back and not miss a single thing, and still enjoy the experience of a movie theater, but yet not having to hold and blow up their bladder in the process. So I think that would be a great idea. Tell me what you think about that idea, bringing intermissions, 5 minute, 2 minute, 2 minutes too short, 5 minute intermissions back to movie theaters like it was many years ago. And it's definitely wanted, and I think people would love to have that. So tell me what you think about it. React to me on that subject. Okay, so I'm going to drink of water real quick, because it is hot here in Studio B, which is my basement. Good stuff. Alright, so now we can get to our last reaction and react subject, and that is Flashpoint. If you was following San Diego Comic-Con, or if you've been checking the internet, YouTube, you see the DC slate, and they are doing a Flash movie in 2019, I believe it is, and it's going to be called Flashpoint. Now it's very interesting that they're going to do Flashpoint right off the bat. Usually, Flashpoint will be your second movie or third movie after the Flash, taking on either the Reverse Flash or whatever, or whoever they're going to have them take on. But they're doing Flashpoint right now, so we know the Reverse Flash is going to be the villain no matter what. Okay, because it's part of the Flashpoint series. But obviously they're going to do if they're going to do Flashpoint, they're going to do a flashback of Flash powers. They're not going to have time to go into how he was Barry Allen, a regular guy, before going to his life, and then got hit by lightning and became the Flash. They're not going to have time for all that. They're going to have to go, he's going to be the Flash already, like he is now. They'll do a little flashback and go right into the story, because if you're doing Flashpoint, the majority of the story can be set in an alternate universe after he runs back in time. And how deep are they going to go on this? I mean, everybody's screaming to see Batman Earth 2. Not Batman, but Thomas Wayne Batman, excuse me. And see him, and if you follow the animated story of Flashpoint, seeing the Atlanteans and the Amazons fighting, and Wonder Woman and Aquaman having some kind of relationship, and then kind of declaring war, seeing all the villains being, some of them being good, and some of the how some of the heroes are renegades and vigilantes in this war going on. On top of that, seeing that Superman was always captured, and seeing a skinny Superman under a red radiation to keep his powers down. So Flashpoint is amazing how they can take it. But Flashpoint, basically, I think they're doing it to see the next later movies, Justice League, Shazam, Aquaman. If these things, I think Wonder Woman 2 is before that, I can't remember, but if they don't kill it, they still reset. Now I think they're also going to use it to get some actors in some different positions, so to speak. As far as another Batman will be introduced, maybe they change Superman, maybe they change the actor, or change his tone to more the Superman of Christopher Reeve Superman, the hopeful. Whenever you watch those old Superman, you always feel hope. And I think the Superman's going to get there too. Whenever they do a Man of Steel 2, they'll bring that kind of back. But Flashpoint could change the Superman origin, change how Batman, who the actor is on Batman. They'll recast him from Ben Affleck to someone younger. They can redo Wonder Woman. I don't think they want to redo. I think Gal Gadot is the perfect Wonder Woman, so they should leave her alone. I don't care what you thought of her. She did a great job, and she is Wonder Woman. You have to have someone beautiful with a decent body and structure and can pull off these moves. So she's great. But, you know, I think they're no doubt going to recast the Joker. I mean, Jared Leto, nothing against him. He's a good actor, but he wasn't. Sometimes you will pick an actor for a role and they try their best, but it's just not, they're just not the ones for it. And you can't have, if you're going to have this kind of Batman, who's skilled and ruthless against, and you tell me that little Joker guy is going to deal with it? No, I'm sorry. Either you got to give him a bunch of gadgets to deal with Batman, or he got to have some skill or something. I don't know, but I think they need to recast him. That's another thing that will come out of Flashpoint. Recasting Joker, recasting Batman. I think they'll leave Superman alone, of course. Maybe even recasting some of the Suicide Squad people. Aquaman, I think they like where he's at, but they're going to change the whole tone. You know, remember, DC did not, unlike Marvel, have a head start. You know, Marvel had Daredevil, Blade, let's see, what else did they have? Punisher, some other movies to start off with that did not do well, but those were their trial runs. They saw their mistakes and said, okay, this is what we need to do. So when they started back up with Iron Man, they knew how to do this. They knew what worked, what didn't work, and what to do. So DC did not have that chance. So their first runs were, well, I guess you could say they did. I mean, Superman Returns, Green Lantern, you know, they had those flops, you know, and then they did Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, which I think is their biggest mistake. Instead of doing this standalone Batman or this Wonder Woman after that, I think that was their biggest mistake, doing Batman v Superman, that storyline with the death of Superman wrapped in with Doomsday. I think they wasted that character, and they could have had that Doomsday alone in a Man of Steel movie by himself. But that's something that they wish they probably could do over. But they probably looked at the way, you know, Fox did X-Men of Days of Future Past, and they were able to say X-Men, 3 and 4 never happened. Never happened. Didn't happen. Didn't exist. Here we're gonna reset it, and Jean Grey's still alive, and Scott's still alive, and that was all just an old past. So they're gonna do Flashpoint, and when he comes back, there'll be certain things reset that never existed, and they can go on with their universe. So I think that's what Flashpoint can do for them. I hate that it's so early, but I understand why they're doing it, because they really need Flashpoint to reset everything. If these movies coming up, Shazam, Aquaman, Justice League, don't really kill it, because they've already changed the tone of the movies that we've seen in Wonder Woman, they can reset it, or they can use Flashpoint just to recast some actors. Say, hey, we did Flashpoint, Ben Affleck's out, or he's an older Batman for future movies, if we ever do a Batman Beyond, or some other Batman, but we need to get a younger Batman in here, we need to recast maybe a different Superman, who knows. But that's what Flashpoint could do for them. So I think Flashpoint's a good idea. I think it can fix DCEU, but I like, if the DCEU looks like Wonder Woman tone and how that went, I think it's going to be fine without it. So if they can just tell a good Flashpoint story and not worry about fixing everything. So that's my opinion, and tell me yours. I'm looking forward to you emailing me at readytoreactnow@gmail.com. I'm the Raw Reactor. Thank you again for joining me for another show, Reaction show. I'll see you next time.